Okay, this is the product image optimization demonstration for computer graphics. Um, so what I'm showing you how to do today is how to optimize an image for a website. So a common thing that designers have to do, especially for an entry-level job, is to do product images. So an example of a product image is right here on this electronics website. You have this receiver and then the description of the product. So any website that you go to buy a product, they're going to need images for their product pages. And they often want them all to look the same. So you might have a job where you do every product for a particular company or for a particular department. But the photos are not taken like this. The high resolution photos are taken and then you have to save them for the website. So I'm going to show you how to do that using an example of a receiver like this. So you're going to open Photoshop and you're going to go to File, New, and you're going to title it like we title everything. Period number, we're going to call this product image, last name, first name, and then you want to make sure you choose web. When you choose web, the resolution will go to 72. That's what you need because you need the image size to be small, because if image sizes are too large, the website will take a long time to load, and that's not a good thing. People want users to get there quickly and see the things and continue to shop. The size of your product image, we're going to do this medium rectangle, 300 by 250, and you'll see that it shows the size right here. And you're going to hit OK. And it's not very big, right? Because product images are not very big. And then you're going to open the sample file that you've downloaded that I gave you in the assignment on Haiku. You're going to go to File, Open, and you're going to open this VSX 1021K receiver image. Okay, and the first thing we want to do is get rid of the background on this image, okay? So you're going to double click on the background layer, hit OK. Then you're going to go over and you're going to grab the magic wand tool. The magic wand tool only selects things that are the same color, okay? So if you click on the white part, all of the white background will automatically be selected. And then what you want to do is invert your selection. Go to Command Shift I, okay? And then you can do a control click or a right click and say layer via cut. It's going to send your receiver to a new layer. And then we want to take this layer over to the file that we just started. So you're going to do a right click on that layer and you're going to go to duplicate layer. And then you want to make sure that you choose your file that you just created. And you can go ahead and name your product. Hit OK. And then we're going to go back to the file we created. And it looks like there's nothing there. But in fact, the image is just really large. So you want to do Command T, which is free transform, which allows you to resize the image. And you're going to zoom out a little bit, do Command minus, and look, there it is. So you can drag it up to the center so that you can see it. And you're going to hold down the Shift key and you're going to make it much smaller. So right now it's saying that it's at like 10% of its original size. If you look up here, it says the width is like 10%. So that was a really big image that we had. Make sure you're holding down the Shift key while you're resizing this so that you don't distort the image. Okay, so it looks like for the width, you want your image to be about 5%. So you could also type in 5% and it'll automatically give you the size that'll fit into this square. So go ahead and click on this check mark because you're done transforming. Okay. And now what you want to do is you're going to add the drop shadow and that kind of reflection part. So you're going to make a duplicate of this layer. So click on this layer and just say duplicate layer. So you can leave it product copy. You can call it something else if you want to call it like product reflection. I like to name my layers so that I don't get confused about what they are. Hit OK. And then you want to drag it down. And we want to transform this layer, right? So you're going to do Command T. And we want to do transform, and we're going to flip vertically. Okay, so it just did it. And if you want, you can hold down the shift and use the arrow keys and you can just kind of inch it down. Okay, so you want to make sure that the feet of the receiver overlap because you want it to look like the receiver is sitting on something reflective and that it's seeing its reflection basically. Okay, so once you've done that, you can go ahead and hit the check mark. Okay, so now we want to add a mask to this layer because it doesn't really look like a reflection. I mean, it's too perfect. It doesn't look like that image that we saw on the Pioneer site. If we look at, see, it's kind of faded. We want it to look like this. So you're going to add a mask, and I'm going to use a gradient because I want it to be a gradual fade. So it's over here with the paint bucket tool. Have a look at your gradient, make sure it's going the right direction. I want mine to go from black. I want mine to go from black to clear, but these are switched, so if you switch them, hit X, then I'll get what I want. I want black to clear. There we go. All right. So you're going to drag up. Oops, undo. It's on radial. That's what the problem is. You want to make sure it's on linear. Okay. So when you've done like a million of these, you'll know exactly where to start and where to stop in order to get it to look the way you want. I feel like that's pretty good. It looks like they did a little bit more. So you can start a little higher up and go up a little further. Yeah, that looks a little better. And so that looks pretty good. The mask looks like it's a little bit crooked. If you undo and you hold down the shift key, it'll make sure that your line is totally straight. And then your mask will be pretty straight. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. Some of this is just eyeballing. So once you kind of get a workflow down, you'll write down your steps and you'll know, if I start at this part on this part of the product and I drag this far, this is what it'll look like. And you'll make notes and then you'll do all of them exactly the same. But when you do the first couple, you have to kind of look at what you're doing and make some decisions and write down some notes. So in this case, you're just trying to make yours look like mine. All right. All right. So now we need to do that drop shadow. So I think the easiest way to do that is to do a control click. Sorry, not control click. Command click on the layer, the product here in the layer, and it will automatically form a selection around your receiver. And we're going to use that to create like a custom shadow. So you're going to go down here and do new layer. You're going to drag that layer underneath because the drop shadow is going to be underneath. And you'll see the selection is still there. But we want to cut some of that selection because we don't want a shadow for the entire thing. We just want a shadow for the bottom part of it. So in order to reshape your selection, you're going to grab the rectangle marquee tool and you're going to make sure that you've got subtract from selection up here. And then you can just draw a rectangle. And you want to make sure to cut off most of the receiver and just leave like a little bit of a sliver at the bottom, including the feet. Okay? So that's what you should have. Now you want to make sure that you have your new layer selected, and we're going to fill that selection with color. Okay? So you want to go to either Edit Fill, or you can use the shortcut Shift F5. Okay? So go ahead and choose Fill, and then you want to make sure that your foreground over here is set to black, and then you choose foreground, and you say, let's leave everything normal, we can edit it later. Say okay. All right, so it's done. You can see over here in your layer now that you have this little black area. All right, so now you just have to change the settings. So go ahead and do Command D to deselect. Okay, so once you have your shadow created, then you want to add some like a blending effect. So we're going to do Gaussian blur, and probably want like 4 pixels is probably good. Okay, you can kind of see that. And then we want to take the opacity down to about 45. And then once you've done that, you can use the arrow keys again and just kind of move it down slightly. Make sure you have your move tool selected. And you can just see that shadow kind of appear. And then once you've done that, you want to select all your layers and go Command G and make them a group. And then you can do Command T, or actually hit Escape, not Command T. You're going to do Command A, select all. And then you want to use the Align tools to make sure that everything is lined up in the center. So go to Align Vertical Centers, Align Horizontal Centers. Actually, Command D. Use your arrow keys and your shift to just eyeball that down to the center. All right, then once you've done that, you're going to go to File, Save for Web. You want to make sure that you have JPEG selected, that you have Optimize checked. 60 is pretty good for the quality. You can look down here and see that it's a very small image, which is exactly what you want. And then you just go to Save and save it wherever you like. and then upload it to the Dropbox.